Hello, everyone. I hope you've had a great holiday season so far. Today, I have a treat for you. It is the first part of our year in review episodes where we take a look back with our awesome bookkeeping panel at all that worked and didn't work in 2021. And as this is our final episode of 2021, I want to thank you for your support and for listening along with us all year long. Be safe during this holiday season, and I'll see you over there in 2022. So let's get this party started. Here we go.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. I am your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be fantastic. First off, I hope you're all enjoying the holidays this far. I mean, it's hard to believe that 2022 is almost upon us, but I'm sure most of the world is not sad to see 2021 go. And now, sadly, if you were to go back and listen to last year's year in review episode, you would say, wait a second, isn't this the same episode? Because Michael's saying exactly the same thing. That is right. I said the same thing of year 2020. Regardless, we've planned a special episode for you. It's our year in review show, and it features an amazing group of guests, including Pure Bookkeeping co-founder and eMyth Bookkeeper co-author Debbie Roberts, Director of Bookkeeping Relief Business Services and Australian Pure Bookkeeping licensee Julie Watson, Florida Virtual Bookkeeper founder and American Pure Bookkeeping licensee Jessica Fox, Financely co-founder and Canadian Pure Bookkeeping licensee Teresa Slack, and Katrina Aarsman, CEO of Pure Bookkeeping Australia. Wow, what a group. Ladies, welcome to the party.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you for having us. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have all of you. And we have a contingency from the United States, Canada, and Australia. And so it's just great. Every year we get bigger and better and have more fun. So next year we'll go for a bigger group even maybe. But enough about that. Let's get into it. This episode is a year in review, and I'm going to be asking this wonderful group a question, and then we're just going to have a conversation about it and see what's what across the world of bookkeeping. So here we go. Let's start off with it. So I'm curious, the biggest surprise of 2021. Who wants to go first?
I'd like to go first, Michael.
Please do.
So here in the United States, I am very pleased by this surprise. I've noticed a shift in business owners, those new prospects, those that have become clients in the past year. They are interested, finally, what I've been advocating for so long. They want the advisory. They want more than just the compliance. So I am very happy to see that there's that mentality shift, that they are valuing our profession and what we can offer.
That's lovely. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I can actually back that up, Jessica, as well, because we recently held a 2-day intensive for bookkeepers in Australia, a workshop. And the amount of people that were on the call, the amount of people that are wanting to work on their business, take it to the next level, get out of doing the day-to-day bookkeeping so that they can actually concentrate on that higher end work and the advisory and working out how to package it up and what skills are needed. So there's certainly a shift in the community to move towards that advisory and really putting higher value on themselves.
That is great.
Fantastic.
I wonder why that is. Why are clients actually starting to request it?
I think it's because bookkeepers are realizing that they can offer these services and they're now presenting. So it starts from the bookkeeper. It's all about educating your clients, and bookkeepers are now realising that they are more than just bookkeepers, and they have a huge amount of wealth of knowledge and information that they used to take for granted, but now we are helping them realise that they know a whole lot more stuff than they give themselves credit for. And they're now packaging up their offerings, their service offerings to their clients, and they're educating their clients around what else. Oh, yeah, I can take care of all of this compliance stuff, but hey, look what else I can do. So I think it's been a gradual re-education of bookkeepers, understanding what their value is, and then working out how to present that to clients.
Yes, I agree, Debbie. Absolutely agree with that, because I feel like in the space we have been propelled so much more beyond where we ever were due to compliance increases, and the knowledge that we have is incredible. So yes, we have so much knowledge on a granular level for these businesses that when they call us to say, oh, look, I need a coach, I need a mentor, we can say, why? I'm doing that for you. I can do that for you. Because in the past, when we were just data entry, you wouldn't even feel confident doing that.
Absolutely.
And I don't even call myself a bookkeeper, anymore. I'm a BAS accountant now, because we generally do so much accounting and advisory work, and it's just happened as a progression. It's really good to see, actually. We had a client call up and ask me whether he knew somebody who could do forensic accounting for him, and I said, well, I'm a forensic accountant and did the forensic accounting. He was looking for some fraud because we can do so much more now. It's great.
Yeah, and looking at it from the client's perspective, I'm definitely seeing that they have more interest in data. And I think, has a lot to do with, the younger generation. They're used to having information at their fingertips. And I think that, they're asking us for more of this kind of stuff. They want the data. They want to understand the numbers. They want to access it on their phone. They want it right at their fingertips. And I think that's helping as well. So we're presenting it differently because we're realizing all the wonderful things that we can do well beyond compliance. And our clients are lapping that up because they want the data, they want the numbers and to understand it, because we've certainly seen the same thing. The clients that are coming to us are absolutely interested in the data. They want to know their finances. They want to use that information to make better choices.
And what I love about that, Teresa, is that they're actually coming to bookkeepers now for that information, where they used to they used to go to their tax accountant or their consultant or whatever, but now they realise that they come to you first, and that is a shift.
Yes, it's a big shift. That's great. It's good for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think, too, I would say, this is kudos to all of you that are in active practice, is that you've built practices with clients like that as well. That's from my perspective, knowing who you are and the businesses you run. You filled up your practice with great clients that want to have this kind of information. Whereas if we jump back, 5 years ago, it might have been a different experience, that your practice was maybe not filled with the type of people or the type of clients that would want that information. So I think it's exciting and it's awesome to see. And I think there's, whilst you have a view of it, I think it's you've built this experience that maybe others wouldn't be experienced because they haven't done the work to build their business with clients they love. So I'll just say that. But let's get into some more surprises of 2021.
I've been a little bit surprised that the clients that we've had, in 2021 in Australia, we were in lockdown for at least 6 months, and we were in Melbourne, so we were very locked down. And I'm really surprised at the resilience of the clients that we had, that I did expect more to close business, go out of business. They were quite diverse and they were diversifying. So the small businesses that we manage, out of the group that we had, I think we lost 2 or 3 that did go out of business due to the restrictions. but most of them were so resilient and just so optimistic that they were going to bounce back, and I was really surprised and happy about that.
It's interesting, Julie, you say you've used a couple of words that prior to coming online, I was thinking of how amazing bookkeepers have been in not just the last 12 months. And Michael, you started off by saying, how come we're having this same conversation about COVID at the end of another year? And Julie, you mentioned resilience, and I actually wrote that down, and I wanted to acknowledge bookkeepers because, yes, the clients have been, the word pivot was being thrown around all year. And yes, clients are pivoting here. But you know what? I think bookkeepers, kudos to you, really, because you were doing one thing and then the next day you were doing 100 other things, and the resilience and the resourcefulness, clients were coming to you with, overnight ringing, can I get this grant? Can I get this thing? The government's giving this next thing and all this sort of thing. And you didn't know anything about it. You were relying on information from the government agencies, and yet you found out you didn't want to let your clients down. And I think that is the thing that I'm very proud of with this industry. That yes, the resilience of the bookkeepers, they're homeschooling their children. They're, having to deal with the psychological impact of being in isolation and having all those restrictions, being separated from family, homeschooling children who are then having to deal with the psychological effects of not being around their friends. I mean, it's been massive. It's been absolutely massive. And yet you come along every day, you face your clients head on, and you just keep giving, and it just gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. So I'm just in awe of every bookkeeper that has had to deal with all these extra things on top of the normal stuff that you used to do 2 years ago. You have all these extra compliance and grants and all these extra things that you've had to do in order to save your clients. And it really that's as real as you can get.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah, what a nice thing. Yeah, it is true. We had to expand our knowledge very quickly, and we had to support scared clients who didn't know what was going to happen. And we had to be that voice of calm, and that it's okay. We got you. We're here to help you. We'll work through this with you. And, thanks, Debbie. What a nice thing to say.
Yeah, that was very nice. And it's true, Debbie, we were like, I remember watching the news thinking, oh no, I've got to figure that out tonight, because tomorrow somebody's made an announcement, and you'd be like, somebody's going to ring, or, the clients need to suddenly stand everybody down, and what does that mean? And you're on Fair Work and you're trying to work it all out. It was incredibly crazy. That's true. Thank you for that.
Yeah, for a while there, every day at 11, our Prime Minister would get on TV and give an update, and I'd watch it every day because he would announce, we've got this funding coming, and I knew, oh gosh, I've got, and if I didn't watch that, I would have clients calling me saying, oh, what's going on with this? So it was trying to stay ahead of those things and trying to stay ahead, and, constantly telling our clients, we're waiting for data. We know about it. We're on it. It was, trying times for sure.
Yes.
And I'm sure that for our listener, knowing that others had to deal with this, and obviously they would know that other people are dealing with, but sometimes working alone as you do, it's challenging to know, well, how are other people dealing with the same thing that I'm dealing with? And are they able to deal with it in the same way? Or, if they're making mistakes or feeling like they're, not getting ahead of it or failing, it can be very heavy on the shoulders to know how have you dealt with the challenge? I mean, there's being resilience, and then there's also the cost and how you go through all of that. It doesn't always look pretty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And we saw that in our pure bookkeeping community. Katrina and I witnessed the impact of the stress that the bookkeepers were under. And so we ran extra community groups, extra chat, let's have a Friday night, little bit of a chat and a gathering. And they weren't record, they're all virtual, but because you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't meet up anywhere. So we were running these virtual meetings. I think being part of a community of supportive licensees or supporting bookkeepers, whatever community that is for you, is so important, that you don't feel isolated, that you're surrounded by people who are feeling the pain and can share in that with you. I think that's been a really important part of this journey, for our licensees to feel part of a caring community.
Yeah. It certainly has helped bolster us through this last 2 years, honestly. Yeah, it's the community that makes it easier to deal with, and we help each other and we support each other. And yeah, I love that about our community.
I am so thankful for the community, because otherwise I would feel like I was isolated in a deserted island. And then I would have been left on my own to try to translate this government guidance that was rushed and not very well thought out. And they didn't anticipate the questions. So having other providers to help bounce ideas off of and be able to mastermind together, that is so valuable.
Yeah, so helpful.
Setbacks. What were the setbacks of 2021?
I think for me, it was very much dealing with the mental health issues of the clients. Like last year, like you were saying, Michael, this is like a repeat of last year, but it was true in that their mental health was really concerning. And we would send out information of grants and things like that, expecting them to jump on them because they needed them. But after a while, we were seeing there was a lot of apathy in the community with business owners. No, they weren't reading emails. They weren't grabbing those grants. We were having to ring them and say, you can get this. And they're like, oh, I'm not getting anything. It was a lot of disappointment out there. It was very, very challenging, and it was very hard to grow your business or keep growing with all of that to deal with. And like Debbie was saying, on top of all of the things that you were dealing with in your personal life. So I feel like for us, it was not a period of growth. It was a period of just maintenance and getting through, which was in itself a setback, I think. Just dealing with the mental health issues of yourself, your staff and your clients was massive.
Yeah, Julie, I agree with you. I certainly would list that as one of our top setbacks as well, as trying to, help stabilize the mental health of, our team, our customers, ourselves. And, there was also illness. There was, we had staff that got COVID and, were out of work for a long time and had long time effects of having it, and trying to support them through that and support our clients. So we had sort of the same kind of thing where we did hit and exceed some of our goals for last year, but some of them ended up having to be deferred just because of where our focus needed to be. So, we created our plan, and then, things change.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I experienced the same in the US, but something that I also found to be a setback is how much time and effort was required to undo what clients did in a panic, because they were worried and they saw a video on TikTok that said, do this, and then they went and did it, and that was not right. And then I had to go ahead and figure out what were they thinking and what should have happened.
Yeah, you got it, Jessica.
Yeah,
definitely.
Let's move into heartwarming stories. I'd like to hear where you experienced or saw a heartwarming story of client success, and maybe how those clients thanked you in 2021.
Yeah, I'd love to jump in on that if I can.
Yes, please do.
We had a client come to us. Of course, as you know, we specialize in e-commerce. So he was an e-com seller, and he came to us. He was a few years behind. And of course, during COVID, he had his children home, his wife was home, he was home, and he was trying to build and grow his business, but because of the overwhelm of having all the pressure around COVID, he got really far behind, and he wasn't sleeping. He wasn't eating. His wife was getting upset with him. You know, he was just losing it. And he came to us and said, I need your help. And we were able to get him set up with a proper integration, get his books cleaned up, sat him down and gave him the financial information on his business. And, you know, I was chatting with him not that long ago, and he said to me, he said, you know what, Teresa, I cannot thank your team enough for what you have done for me, my wife, my children, my family, and my business. You know, we're proactive. He said, you guys are on it. You're letting me know of what the issues are. And we were able to give him some really key information. He had expanded during COVID into international selling, but didn't really understand the additional costs involved in what he had done. And it was actually draining his business. But because we could give him that information and help him through the process, he was able to pull out of what was actually draining his business and put him back into a position of profitability and being able to lead the lifestyle he wanted to with his wife and kids. And, you know, he sings our praises all the time. And I just thank his bookkeeper for making that happen for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. It is one of the things that brings me back to why I love my job, because it really is the family that sits around the table.
Mm.
Yeah.
The story really moved me, and
you know, I'll step in if you like, Michael. And what I think is amazing in a way, it's kind of, I don't know actually what you call it, but when we started Pure Bookkeeping, our mission was to transform the bookkeeping industry by helping great bookkeepers grow their businesses. And, you know, hearing stories like that is moving, because it's like we are fulfilling on our mission. And it's one bookkeeper at a time, and it's helping you guys get whatever you need, the systems, guidance and support to help you grow your businesses. And it is transforming the bookkeeping industry. It is. You know, we've just said at the start about how bookkeepers are now realising their value. They're realising that they are more than just bookkeepers. They realise that they are part of supportive communities, that they're not alone. It is transforming. It's just very heartwarming.
Yeah. And I know how every month Michael says we have, during our call, one of the lines is making the world a better place. And that's what we're able to do, you know, with Pure. We're able to help our clients change their lives and make the world a better place. And that's pretty inspirational to me.
Yeah.
That's why I get up every day.
When you think it was only a few years ago, or maybe 5, you know, when we first launched Pure Bookkeeping, we were coming across bookkeepers every single day that thought they were just bookkeepers. And that's what they did. They did bookkeeping, and they did data entry, and they did compliance. And it has transformed amazingly over the past 11 years. And it's not just from Pure Bookkeeping. There's other industry bodies, there's fabulous associations, professional associations globally that are doing enormous work to help their members realise the same sort of thing. So it's like this. It's almost like the time has come. We are all united, all the different groups, educating bookkeepers to understand they are more than just bookkeepers, and that they can offer advisory, and they are empowered. That's what we're doing, you know, and it's a global initiative, and it's awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely.
well, I was moved a little bit there because, you know, growing up, my father was a, small business owner, and I've told the story before, but for whatever reason, this time of the year, it's maybe affecting me a bit more, but I sat around the table where it didn't go well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to hear these stories and to serve the community that I do, it's just, for me, it's what moves me. And it's why I do what I do, I guess. And so I'm just looking forward to, more of those families every single year that we're all at it. We help those families that are at work and doing the work that they do, because it's not easy to be a business owner and have a family and try to make it so big. There's a lot that's going on and it's difficult and challenging. And so you who are bookkeepers are at the front lines of that. And it's often not known or not seen, not appreciated. But when you do the work to become the bookkeeper that can do the work that Teresa's just shared, when you become the expert and become a master of it and you're passionate about it and you put all your energy into it and you build a business like that can do that, you might not get a lot of accolades, but you'll always get them from me because I know. And the ones that know and have been there know. And so it's great to hear, and thank you for sharing it, Teresa. And it's a kudos to everyone listening, because you probably don't get to hear that story that often, even when you've done it and helped them and know that you've helped them, but maybe you're not thanked or appreciated for it. So wonderful stuff. We could do the heartbreak of 2021, but I think what would that be?
Well, I can share a pretty big heartbreak we had in 2021.
Please do.
If you like. It's personal, though, if that's okay. Not business. So my mom had a spinal cord stroke and lost the use of the bottom half of her body. And that was pretty heartbreaking for us and very full of change. We had to sell our house. We had to buy a bungalow, take in my mother, and I'm astounded every day by her tenacity and her commitment to recovering from this. She does more and more every day, and I'm very proud of her. But it was certainly pretty heartbreaking and a major shift in trying to run a business while caring for an elderly parent, and probably good for me because not being able to skip, I'll skip lunch and keep working. Well, no, I got to go make my mom lunch. I got to make sure she eats and make sure she's okay. And, so it kind of forced me to take more breaks, but also learning to adjust my expectations of all the work that I could get done and recognizing that I couldn't do as much as I was doing before because I'm caring for my mother. So that would be my biggest heartbreak of
and that's the reality of it, really. We can't separate our business from ourselves and our humanity and our family. We are part of our families, and we have a business as well. And I think, thank you, Teresa, for sharing that, because that is life. That is what I mean by that is, I could give you a whole lot of stories from licensees that I've spoken to in the last 12 months who have had some personal hardship, and yet they turn up, they have a smile on their face, and they continue to serve their clients. And again, another reason to you can turn that heartbreaking story into a heartwarming story, because you still continue, although, Teresa, you mentioned perhaps you had to modify what you were doing, but that's what you have to do, but you still are serving your clients.
Yes, and heartbreak, as painful as it is, anytime that we suffer and we have pain, it allows us to evolve and grow. So while it's very unfortunate that we have to go through something so sad, at the same time, it allows us to have progress. And in this particular case, it allows you to have more work-life balance that may not have been there before. And I know that my heartbreak, while it wasn't personal, I took it personally. My very first bookkeeping client ever passed away this year. And even though they had stopped being my client because they had to shut down and focus on their health, I felt it. I mean, it was like losing a family member. But after that period of mourning, I learned to embrace the gift that client gave me, because they took a chance on me when I had no idea what I was doing. I knew how to do bookkeeping. I did not know how to run a business. They trusted me to figure it out as I went. And I learned so much. And without that relationship that we had for the years that we worked together, my business will not be what it is today.
Wow.
I have a heartbreaking story, but also a heartwarming story. And we've got 2 overseas offshore employees that are full-time. They're in their 20s. And one of our team members who's been with us for 3 years, in 2020, her father passed away. And that was really, really sad. But in 2021, this year, her mother passed away. And so being in your 20s and losing both your parents within 12 months is so, so difficult.
Yeah.
She took a lot of time off. She came back and went straight back into work, which was fantastic, and just the whole year she's been struggling to deal with losing both her parents and having to adjust to living without her parents being in the house. And where she is, family is very tight, and her parents were very strict as well. So that was very involved in her life. And only about 6 weeks ago, I got a phone call from another pure bookkeeping licensee. And she and I've never met, just spoken and know each other from the community. And she called me to say that my team member had applied for a job with her. And she wanted to check with me first if that was okay. Did I know that she was applying for a job with her, and that she had told this pure bookkeeping licensee that she works for me as well, but this is extra hours that she's getting. So she's full-time for me, so she was applying for another 15 hours or 20 hours a week with this other licensee. And she said, I wanted to ring you first and check with you because I know you, and I don't think you would be happy if your employee was doing 60 hours a week, and I don't really want her if she's doing 40 hours for you, 35. So I said, I was so grateful that she called me. I told her, thank you so much, got on a Zoom call with my team member, and I said, what's happening? What are you doing? I didn't know you were looking for a job. Are you okay? Are you not happy? She burst into tears and talked about how it's just because she needs the money because her parents aren't there anymore and she's the only one providing for the family. And, it was just it was an amazing moment, really. Like, I was so grateful that this licensee called me and not just put her on. I wouldn't have even known about it. Gave me the opportunity to increase her pay to what she needed. And I just said, what do you need? And just paid her because she was so valuable, and called back the licensee, who was just so blessed as well to have been able to create that opportunity so she didn't have to do 60 hours of work a week. So it was really nice to have that support in the community, that she didn't just take her on because she's an amazing worker, and this licensee said to me, I'm so disappointed. I really wanted her, but I want to do the right thing by both of you.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Those were some inspiring stories. A big thank you to the panel for sharing, but they're not done. We have part 2 of the year in review coming up, where they will discuss what strategies led to great results in 2021. You do not want to miss that episode. So with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guests and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye and Happy New Year!
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.